Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. Once again, you are most welcome here on your beloved platform, the platform for awakening consciences. So, at the very moment I'm speaking to you, nothing is going right in France. When we say that things are not going well, some people think we're just trying to spread propaganda or simply trying to say things to please our African friends. Far from it. That idea couldn't be further from the truth. No, we are here for the truth. We are here to awaken consciences. When I say that France's economy has collapsed because France is no longer connected with Africa, that all of France's interests in Africa have been cut off, some people think it's an exaggeration to say so. This gentleman here, Francois Bayrou, the French Prime Minister, yesterday, the 15th of July, 2025, announced the sad and bad news to France, to the French people, and a very good piece of news for us, the sovereign Africa. I ask you to watch this video conference until the end. You need to watch it all the way through. Yes, you will understand a lot of things. Share the video conference with all your brothers, with all our brothers in Africa, those who don't believe what we say, those who don't believe you either. Let's dive deeper. Prime Minister Francois Bayrou, one of the first announcements he made, which troubled the French people, was when he said that our country's debt now amounts to more than 3.3 trillion euros. So France's debt today stands at 3.3 trillion or 3.3 billion euros. That's the amount of debt France has. Speaking of France's debt, the European Union has done everything it could. They even almost recently put France under economic supervision, a kind of economic restructuring. After giving France several warnings because France no longer complies with the European Union's economic criteria and rules. When you look at the debt ceiling for countries in the European Union, France has broken through the ceiling twice. France's debt, its public debt, is just too high. And the problem is money is no longer coming in. In the end, to find a solution, top of the fact that money is no longer coming, in France is making unnecessary expenditures in the context of conflicts around the world. So, to resolve the situation, the budget for 2026 is going to be complicated. There had been a censure. There had been, I was going to say, a dissolution of the French parliament. That's what led to this new prime minister. But what's happening? In France itself, they don't have any more money. Despite the various reforms we've mentioned recently in university budgets, cutting budgets for unions, transportation, farmers, cutting budgets. So the subsidies that were allocated to local authorities, now, they no longer give them. But all that wasn't enough. That was just to make sure that the 2025 budget would work. Now, we're in the month of July. We're in July 2027. The finance law must be passed before the 31st of December 2025. Starting from the 1st of January 2026, the new budget must come into effect. France has no more money. That's why the Prime Minister, I think it's him, Francois Bayrou, I believe he's the Prime Minister. Anyway, there you have it. Share the video. So yes, he's the Prime Minister, Francois Bayrou. He even went so far as to say that one of the solutions is to eliminate 2 public holidays. 2 public holidays in France. This is supposed to save money. But it's the elimination of those 2 public holidays that most people noticed. He made other proposals as well. I'm telling you, it's enough to make you cry. This France that has always been presented to us as a very powerful state, a country with every resource. France no longer has the means, I'm telling you. But many refuse to believe it. You need to send them this video, please. As you can see, I am very tired, but I decided to host this video conference. Send the video everywhere to our brothers in Africa. So what is the strategy he wants to use? a strategy that has people talking a lot, So, according to the official information, on Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025, Prime Minister Francois Bayrou presented his guidelines for the 2026 budget, aiming for 43.8 billion euros in savings to restore public finances. So he presented it, I believe, to Parliament. In his vision, he wants France to save 43.8 billion euros. And if France has to save 43.8 billion euros to restore public finances, what are the measures he has proposed? He has proposed several measures, but among these, there are some key measures. Among these key measures, he is proposing a blank year for France. And this blank year, don't take it to mean a year off from school. No. Here's what he's proposing. He proposes a blank year, freezing social benefits. So everything the state has provided as social assistance, it stops. He wants to freeze pensions and taxes with no adjustment for inflation, as well as the elimination of 2 public holidays, Easter Monday and May 8th. That means, for those retiring in 2026, throughout the entire year, you receive nothing. They had even already started. When you get sick, the days you are off work, you don't get paid. You got sick. You saw that you were sick. But the day you didn't come to work, you don't get paid. And since public holidays are paid, he wants us to eliminate those 2 days. That saves money. We get rid of them. They are no longer public holidays. Now, if someone doesn't want to come, we won't pay them. So Elise on his X account says, the blank year is a collective effort that concerns all categories of French people. The rule is not to spend more in 2026 than in 2025. Not less, not more. I'm telling you, things are really heating up in France. But what he said there sparked reactions all over the place. The French people opposed it. That is to say, with each passing day, life for the French goes from bad to worse. We say as Africans that we're barely scraping by. But the French meaning, they're dragging the devil's tail along with them. They're not just barely scraping by, they're actually dragging it along with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just the first part. I'll be back in the second part to give you more details. But in the meantime, please share this video conference as much as possible. I'll be back with more news for you shortly. This was the voice of your one and only Samouraï.